Hey guys, so I had kind of a different video idea for you tonight. What I thought was kind of cool is I have a lot of palettes. I have close to 100 palettes. And of course we don't need that many, but I have that many, so what are you gonna do now? But anyways, I thought I would go through and talk about some of my limited edition palettes and whether I really like them, whether I was happy with those purchases, because a lot of the palettes that I do own are now, you can't get them anymore. So was it worth spending the money on those? Now, I'm only going to run through a few today. If you're interested in seeing more of these kind of videos, I can do more. Um, I would like to go through more, honestly, but it's really what you guys want to see. So let's start with one from Lorac. This was the New Necessities palette. So very shimmery on the outside, and then on the inside you have a nice mirror down here, but you have all nude shades. Now I believe that these are such great shades, but a lot of people thought that it was really close to one another. So you have six mattes. It looks like two satins, and the other four are shimmers. So I like to use this palette sometimes on its own, sometimes with a more colorful palette, and that way you get a nice mix. But I find personally that there are nice setting powders for setting my primer. I like to go in with either this white, or I'll even go with this light gold shimmer, and then I'll take either this or this in the crease, to really do that defining of the crease. And there are darker colors that you can use on the outer corners as a standalone palette, but it could be more like a Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. So you could take this in with another palette. So for me, it was worth a purchase, but for a lot of people, it probably wouldn't be worth a purchase because a lot of the colors are very similar in there. For I work at a school, so if I need something nice and natural and I'm really not sure what I want to wear, I can go ahead and pick this, and I know that I'll get a nice natural look out of it. A little tiny quad was from Kat Von D. This is her Rust Shade and Light Contour Quad. Now this one I haven't had as much use out of. I really enjoy her formula, and I don't like mattes. The Shade and Light palette got me to enjoy mattes and really kind of say, hey, maybe matte eyeshadows aren't the worst, and let's go try to find some other palettes that I really enjoy. So this one, it actually does have a satin. This white shade has a little tiny bits of sparkles in it, but nothing that's really going to show up on the eyes as like a glitter. So you can set your primer, which is what I do. So I always have the same exact eye look when I use this quad. I use this to set my primer. This is a transition, this in the crease, and this in the outer corner. And then sometimes I'll pull in either this on the lid, or I'll even pull like a Stila glitter on the lid and then kind of just brighten it up that way. Now I do really like this, and I find it's very helpful in the fall. That orange is a unique color to my collection personally, but do I think that I needed this? Probably not. I did buy this during one of the VIB sales, so I did get a little bit of a discount. I like that it does have a mirror. I like the quality of the formula, but if I had to redo it, I probably wouldn't pick this palette up. Another one, this is the Tarte Maneater palette. This was the original one. Now, it does have a nice mirror. I do think it's a nice size for travel, but it is very neutral again. So I have a lot of neutrals in my collection. You'll continue to see that. And it has a nice mix of mattes and shimmers in here. Now this shade here is very glittery. It's one that has a decent amount of fallout, but I enjoy it, and I really like this brown here, this saucy color. This is something that I don't really find in my collection a whole lot, that specific color. Just something different about it than it has that like kind of poopy brown color that I enjoy. So this one, again, I wouldn't run out and purchase it if I had to do it all over again. They do have the version 2, which I'm not picking up because they did add a red shade, I believe, here, and then this, they split up and they put a black in there. And now I just don't find myself going and reaching for blacks. I actually get so tired of black eyeshadows in palettes. So honestly, I'm glad I have this, but it's one that I thought about decluttering, so that's how much I feel like I don't need it. But I really do enjoy this color, so that's probably one of the reasons why I will continue to keep that in my collection. So let's transition a little bit and talk about Urban Decay. This is the electric palette, and I know a lot of people really enjoy this palette. It does come with a mirror, and it came with a brush also, which is dual-sided, and that's pretty helpful. I like when palettes come with brushes. I know some people don't, and that's your decision. But this is a very colorful palette, so it's very neon. A lot of the colors are not considered eye safe. I've used all these on my eyes and not had an issue, and I even have a sensitivity to red dyes, so the orange and the pink did not bother me, and I didn't have any problem with the purples either. I think it's really pretty, but honestly, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't pick up this palette because I just don't wear colorful eyeshadows enough to really get a lot of use out of this palette. Now, I really do like this yellow and this green. I don't have any of these colors in my collection outside of this palette, so that is why I continue to hold on to it. And I really do love something about this picture I just love. But, I mean, the quality is there. If you really like colorful looks, you go for those a lot. This would have been a palette that you definitely should have gotten your hands on. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who really do enjoy it. I actually saw a post from Urban Decay and it said, if we could bring back any item from our past releases, what would it be? And a lot of people were saying this palette. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this re-released from Urban Decay. However, this would not be one that I pick up. You know, if I could do it all over again, this wouldn't be at the top of my list. And another one from Urban Decay was this little eyeshadow palette. I believe this is one of the ammo ones. Again, it comes with a mirror and is nice for travel size. It is pretty neutral, has a couple pops of color. You have a nice green, an orange, and a blue there, but overall pretty neutral. Now, the fun fact about this is a lot of their popular shades over the years are in this palette. So you have Smog, you have Sin, Mushroom I know is another big one, Blackout is their black. So you do have a nice collection of their traditional and famous shades. However, I just don't use this palette a whole lot. Now, I love Urban Decay and I love neutrals, and I do hold on to this because I do tend to reach for this once in a while. But with almost 100 palettes in my collection, this isn't one that I think of all the time. So if I had to do it again, would I pick this up? No. Is the quality there? Absolutely. But for me personally, it's just not one that I reach for anymore. And then switching a little bit to ColourPop, the Where the Light Is quad from Kathleen Lights. So you have 4 neutral colors here. You have this cream shade, you have a more reddish copper tone, a brown bronze, and then you have a deep brown here. I don't need this. I don't really ever use it. I purchased it basically because of Kathleen Lights. I like to support YouTubers that I follow on YouTube when they come out with collaborations. Now, this is nice. As you know, though, I have a ton of neutrals in my collection, so I just don't reach for them. And I certainly don't reach for these little ColourPop Super Shock shadows. I have a whole collection of them. And as much as I always tell myself, you need to pull those out more, I never do. And I really do get upset at myself for that. So this one is one that I have that if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't pick this up because I don't know. I like it, it's good quality, but I just never use it. The original Carly Bible and BH Cosmetics palette, and this is really nice. It's good quality. It has 4 highlighters down here. This one I use more of a bronzer, but you do have a lot of everyday looks. A couple things about this. So it has a lot of plums and mauve shades, and then you have your more neutral shades over here. That is why I love this palette. That's why I purchased this palette, but it certainly is not unique to my collection. And they do have a decent amount of matte shades. The shimmers are very pretty, but they're not the highest quality shimmers I've ever used. So I do like this palette, but if I had to do it all over again, I probably wouldn't purchase this. Like I said before with Kathleen, I purchased this because I do like supporting those YouTubers that I follow and I really enjoy their videos. The highlighters are great quality. The eyeshadows are great quality. They're not the best that I've ever had, but I mean, it was super cheap, like $12, I think. And the another downside for me is that it smells. Like, it smells chemically. It smells like gasoline. Every time I open it, it still smells, and I've had this for what, 3, 4, 5 years now. It's just too much. So if I had to do it again, I wouldn't repurchase this because, or I wouldn't purchase it in the first place, because it is really neutral and I just didn't love it. Another collaboration was the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. I love the look of this. It looks like a checkerboard, I feel like, and it's just so cool. Mine is broken, sadly. I don't want to talk about it because it still upsets me to this day. So bear with me as I try to show you these. But so it's a lot of neutrals. You have your black shade there, a gold, a blue, a pink. So the bottom row is more colorful. Now, I don't really ever use blues, and I don't use the pink a lot, and like I just told you that I hate black. But something about this palette I just really love. I love the quality of it. I love the looks that I get when I use this palette, and I just think it's so pretty, and I absolutely would repurchase this if I had to. I don't know. Something about it. I think it's nostalgic to me because it's Gwen Stefani, but I think also it's really good quality in my opinion, and it's a neutral palette that I feel that I need in my collection, so I absolutely would 100% purchase that again. And then we have the Urban Decay Heavy Metals palette. This is one that I like lusted over during the holidays. Now it does pull out like you just saw, and it has two sides to it. So I'm going to show you one side at a time so I don't blind you with the mirror. Now there are a ton of shimmers. I mean, it's all shimmers. It's heavy metal. This is a heavy metal formula. These are, I don't want to say they're creams, but they're definitely like a high pigmented shimmer. They are very pretty. They're very, very good quality in my opinion. I love all those neutrals. And then on the other side, you do have a lot of colors. Now these are more of like a gem-toned, jewel-toned, that's what I'm looking for, collection of colors. Now, for me, I don't really use the colorful side as much, but I definitely get the use out of the neutral side. So for me, this was a palette where I wish almost instead of one huge palette, they would have put out two smaller palettes. So you could choose which one you wanted, or made it one of the ones that they're doing now, which is like the two-sided palettes. That would have been really great. Now, would I purchase this again? Absolutely. I did get it on sale, and I did get it with some Ulta points, so I ended up getting it for $20-something when the ticketed price was, I believe, $54 or $56. I think it's good quality. I would have repurchased that. Like, if I had to go back and do it all over again, that's one that I would repurchase. Now, there's another Kat Von D one that's Interstellar, and it looks like this. I think it's super cool looking. Again, the quality of her shadows is really pretty, but I just don't ever use this palette. It's a lot of purples, a lot of cool tone colors. Now, that's what I've been striving for companies to start releasing more, because now we're in this market of everybody releases warm tones, and that's all we get. So I really need to go back to using this because I think that I really will enjoy it. It's just I don't overall get that much use out of it. So I'm going to say, as a cool tone fan, I enjoy this formula and I enjoy the palette, but I need to go back into using it. So would I do it all over again? I probably wouldn't, just because I don't really get that much use out of it. But if you're somebody who loves those tones, you definitely should have picked this up. And I think if I had to do it all over again, like I said, I think I would. I have another limited edition with ColourPop. This was the Hello Kitty collection. So this has a white, a red, a more bronzy shade, and then a dark blue. Those are just colors that I don't ever use. Like, I don't ever use red, white, and blue in a look unless it's the 4th of July. Now, I can see what they're going for here, because Hello Kitty is, you know, red, white, and blue a lot of times. But again, I just don't use the Super Shock shadows because I don't use the single shadows that much. I do think it's super cute, so I am happy that I picked it up. Honestly, I probably would pick it up again just because I'm a Hello Kitty junkie, and I'll probably never get rid of this just for nostalgia's sake. But as far as using it, I don't get a lot of use out of it, so I wouldn't pick it up in like using it terms, if that makes sense. Moving on is a Pure Transformation palette. This was 4 eyeshadow palettes, or 4 eyeshadows at the top, 2 cheek products, and then a cream, either liner or you could use it as a base for your colors. You really could do a lot of different things with this. Now, it does come with a cream, bronzer, and blush, which I don't love and I don't use that often. The eyeshadows I think are very pigmented, but honestly I could just get this in so many other palettes. I don't use cream products that much, so for me, I haven't used this enough that I get enough for my money, you know, so I would not repurchase this. The Marc Jacobs Style Icon About Last Night. This was 2016, I believe, holiday palette. Now, very neutral. There's a lot of deep tones down here that I don't love. And I do like all the neutrals at the top. I do think he has really good quality eyeshadows. However, I just think that I get so much more use out of my 5 or 6, I think it's 6 shadow pan than I do with this one. So if I had to do it all over again, I would not pick this one up. I didn't pick up last year's holiday set, even though I wanted to. But, I mean, I really do think it's pretty. I just don't get enough use out of it. And for a palette that I spent $100 on, I really wish I did use it more. So if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't pick that one up because I don't use it that much. Another huge palette that I don't use a whole lot is the Lorac Mega Pro 3, no, the Mega Pro 2 palette. And this is, I don't know, I like it and then I don't like it. So it just has a lot of light colors. If you look overall, you can see the light tones, and then it has some pops of color. I just think it's kind of a weird mix of shades. Now there's a lot that I am seeing here that I just don't have anywhere else, like this burlap color here, this tangerine, this even blue shade. I know I don't have those anywhere else. This to me is just a nice palette to have for so many different colors in one place. It is good quality. There are some that are more powdery than others, but honestly, I do think it's good quality overall. I do enjoy this palette. So if I had to go back and do it all over again, yes, I would pick this up. I didn't get the first one, but I have the 2, 3, and 4, and I really do enjoy them. So this is one that, although I don't get a lot of use out of, I just need to pull it back out and start using it more because I do like it. So if I had to go back, yes, I would repurchase. Okay. I have 2 more palettes. So I have the Marc Jacobs Object of Desire palette. This was the holiday, the same one as the other one I showed you. And this has 6 eyeshadows, a blush, a bronzer, and a highlight. This, honestly, I don't get that much use out of. Now, it does have neutrals and it does have plum shades. Those are my colors, but honestly, these aren't the best nudes that I've ever used in my life. It is nice that it comes with a bronzer, blush, and highlight, so that is one perk of this product. It's a reason why I haven't gotten rid of it, but I certainly don't get very much use out of it. So if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't pick this up because for the price, I think it was like $70, and I certainly have eyeshadow palettes that I get way more use out of than that one. And then my Narcissist palette, this is the L'Amour, Toujours L'Amour palette. I'm sure I botched that, but I don't speak French, so this is very shimmery front, which is so pretty. And then inside you have a lot of cool tones, but there's so many dark tones in here. So that's a reason why I like this palette. I don't love it. I was not impressed at all with the quality of these shadows. This is one that I hold on to that I really can't get rid of just because I spent so much money on it and it's NARS and I just want to have something NARS. They were considered cruelty-free, but they just recently started selling in China, so they are pulled off that list. So if I had to go do it again, I would not because there's so many dark colors, but also because they're not cruelty-free anymore. So that was an easy one for me. And that's going to do it for this video. If you want to see like a part 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, let me know. I will definitely film that because I have close to 100 palettes. As you can tell, there's only so many in this palette video. I didn't want to put all of my limited editions in here, but I certainly have, I'd say I have 100 palettes, and I have about 75 that probably are limited edition. So if you want to see more, let me know. I'll give you my thoughts, and you can have that relief of, oh, I didn't miss out. Okay, I'm glad I didn't spend my money on that. So coming from somebody who did spend their money on a lot of palettes that I didn't really need, don't feel sorry about it. So yeah, that's all I have. Let me know below if you have any comments, questions. If you want to buy any of these palettes off of me, let me know. I mean, I've used them all, so whatever. Let's just end this video. All right, I love you guys. I will talk to you in my next video.